Okay. So last time we played a little Legends of Runeterra, we found a nice one known as Champless Poro. Hold on, let me click out of here. There we go. There we go. Champless Poro. Oh wait, actually there was one thing we absolutely have to change in Champless Poro. Yeah, sorry if I sound as though I have the sniffles. I was just outside all night. Time trick. Troll chant. Why am I playing troll chant? Just kidding. I understand why, but it's like we could always play something better than troll chant. I like the +4/+0 on quick attack. I like the get excited. But we're a machine for consistency right now. So I think we need a time trick because we're a consistency fiend right now. This is a short one. So we may as well start with the stuff we know that works good. Yeah. I guess I should make sure the audio is good. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. The in-game audio, I I'm trying to make it so it's in between not being blasting your ears and not being quiet. So if you can hear it well, let me know. Oh god. Oh yeah, and every time I go to adjust it, clicking out of OBS or clicking out of the game makes it mute itself. So with this deck, you're always mulliganing to Iceborne Legacy, and you're always mulliganing. So can you hear the music better now? You know, I bet it's safe right there. So I like going the Forge Chief. That's good. That's good. How are you doing tonight? So you're actually not with this deck not that concerned about getting in max damage. You're concerned with ramping into this 5-drop spell the first few turns. So at this point, I don't do anything. I'm doing good. I'm glad I got to stream today. I had a wild day with car troubles, but you know, now that I'm back in the house, it's a lot better. Glad to be playing the game right now. So this should be easy. We should play the Daring Poro. Oh, if you didn't know, the Iceborne Legacy needs to go on that Daring Poro. I didn't get it fixed, but I got it towed. I had quite an interesting day getting it towed too. It was, I don't know, it was kind of like a very frustrating, but in retrospect, when you think about what it was that was happening to me, it was pretty funny, you know. So like, I was out, and then I went somewhere that closed at 7, and once I came out, my car wouldn't start, and that's happened when it gets real cold sometimes. Usually I just need to like pump the gas pedal while starting it and it goes, or you know, I'm not used to having car troubles, so I tried whatever someone who doesn't know what they're doing would try. And I'm going to attack with both. So it wouldn't start, and I call AAA, and this shopping plaza I'm in, so I call AAA. AAA's like, okay, we'll come with a jump. And they get there, and I'm waiting 30 minutes in a car that's turned off outside in the cold, thinking I just need a jump. And the guy arrived, gave it a jump, nothing, nothing at all. It was kind of crazy. And then I think the way to go actually is to play this guy. So then he gets there. I'm waiting in the car now for AAA to bring an actual tow truck, And so I'm like, okay, I'll go shopping in this Dollar Tree, walk over to the Dollar Tree, because it's the only open thing on the whole plaza besides this foot spa, right? So I go over, and the Dollar Tree closed due to family emergency in management. It was like a handwritten note, closed 2 hours early due to a family emergency with management, And so I'm just expecting like to be like, oh, maybe I could walk into the foot spa for 5 minutes, because at this point I'd been sitting in my car since like 5:30. It's about to be 7 o'clock, and the tow truck's like 5 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, I want to be like a little warm. So I go into the foot spa, and I was like, hello, my car's getting a tow. Is it all right if I'm in here for like 2 or 3 minutes to warm up? And I don't think the guy knew English, or it was one of those like they were faking not knowing English to like kick me out of the store faster. But it was literally just a guy repeating himself over and over, like, you must leave, we are busy, you must leave. And I'm okay, I almost did sort of a over the top impersonation there. But for about 3 minutes, I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. You could keep telling me, I'll leave in a couple minutes, because my toes were hurting, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna sit in here for 2 minutes. I'm gonna just take it. The guy's not understanding what I'm saying, And so for literally 3 minutes, I was in this store for 3 minutes. The guy wouldn't hear what I had to say. I could have been a customer and he wasn't hearing what I had to say, basically. So I'm in there for 3 minutes. The guy repeats, you must leave, at least 100 to 200 times in that 3 minute period. Like, it was actually one of the most bizarre moments I've ever had. And I'm like, hey man, if this is awkward or embarrassing for you, imagine me. You know what I mean? And he's just like repeating it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to just pull out my phone, check this thing real quick, and then I'll be out of here. And he just stood there repeating himself. And it was just like a Asian-owned foot spa. So I was like, oh man, like, I've never been into one of these, but I kind of get some of the jokes in these movies, but I'm not impersonating the guy for realizing how it comes off from seeing those movies, And then the tow truck operator gets there, and it was really mean, right? So I just stood there, basically not paying attention to the guy. And what made it extra awkward and weird is he had extremely greasy hands from doing a foot massage, I'm guessing, right? And he's wearing a mask. I'm wearing a mask. I'm not doing anything rude, right? So his glasses are getting fogged up from him talking so much. You know what I mean? And he has these greasy hands, and it's a foot massage place. So I'm like watching him like try and adjust his glasses and like all this while rubbing grease on his forehead and on his temple and under his eyes from the feet massages that he's wearing He's literally wearing gloves to not get the grease on his body. So, like, he was just greasing up his face while telling me that I had to leave. And then once the tow truck guy got here, yeah, it was so gross. It was gross. But he was very respectful of, like, not touching me or, like, getting too close when asking me to leave. So I was respecting his personal space while being just present, you know? And then we get and then I'm like, okay, it's been enough. I could feel my feet, because I was actually like, my feet were so cold I was concerned. So once they warmed up, I'm like, all right, this guy's out of breath. I'm gonna make it so he could stop talking, you know. Walk outside. Ooh, 2 Iceborne Legacies. This is actually like an unmulliganable hand. I like this hand. So then I go outside. I see the tow truck. They're just on the other side of the parking lot while I'm over here. So I wave them down and I come out and I'm like, hey, have you ever talked to the foot spa people? And the tow truck driver said, yeah, they're some of the rudest people I've ever towed a car for. And I was like, really? And then I told them about this because I had nothing to do. I was excited to talk to someone who was nice to me, you know? And this guy was like, yeah, that sounds just like him. And it's like, and then he was like, yeah, and I've never dealt with like a foot spa or like anyone who didn't understand English to that extent and used it as like an excuse to steamroll you with being rude and like rushing you, because they were apparently rushing him with. So he was like, yeah, I'm not racist, but that was like a very, they didn't speak English moment, and that's why they were being rude kind of thing. And I'm like, you know, I don't think you were being racist. They were just pretty rude, you know. But it was like, how did these people have a reputation with a tow truck driver for being horribly rude when he's like a service providing person? You know what I mean? And then after that, completely, once it became like a really positive experience, the tow truck driver was one of the most interesting people I've like talked to in a long time. He was like, man, I'm getting this new job because this one doesn't have benefits, right? And I'm like, yeah, everyone loves benefits. He's like, yeah, I lost my teeth to this job. And I'm like, I see a pack of smokes, so I'm like, oh, maybe he had like a cigarette smoking tooth issue and he lost a few teeth. And then he's like, and then I'm like, oh, like to smoking or dipping or something? And he's like, no. I lost my teeth while on the job in a towing accident. And I'm like, oh my God. How is the plot thickening so much? You know what I mean? So then, while we're driving back, he's like, man, do you mind if I have a cigarette? And I'm like, sure. He had a stressful day. And then he hits it and he's like, you're the first person to not ask me about my teeth. And I'm like, well, what could have happened with them? I thought, were they knocked out? And he was like, yeah, they were knocked out because while I was hooking up the chain to a car to pull it onto the bed, it was one of those ones where the car is completely on the bed of the truck. He was like, while it was being pulled up onto the bed of a truck, a car did a hit and run on the car that was getting loaded. It unhooked the chain, and a cable snapped that was wrapping the chain up, and the hook that was pulling the car onto the bed flew and hit his whole top row of teeth out. I'm almost doing something I shouldn't. Skip block. So I was just like, oh my gosh, this is one of the most interesting days of towing I've ever had to deal with in my life. I don't even tow stuff very often, you know. And it ended up being like a real cool, nice guy. I hope he does good. He, I'm not going to dox him, but he found a job with benefits and is quitting that one in March. Congrats to him. But yeah, that was a really fun, weird. I will say I was like pretty shook by that one person in the foot spa. Like literally like, I think he might have thought I was homeless or something. I don't know. I didn't think that area dealt with like homelessness or something, but I couldn't tell. I was getting treated like I was like, there's no way you should be in this room. You know what I mean? So, and to go from that to a guy with like this great sense of humor about it, it was a shocking dichotomy of how people could treat you. But yeah, and then oh yeah, and the tow truck guy, I'm like, how long ago did you like get smacked in the mouth with that hook? Cause he was like, we were chatting. It was like a 30-minute drive. I was pretty far from my house, so like, yeah, it was like less than a month ago. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. He lost. Or no, I'm sorry. It wasn't 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's mid-February. It was the end of December. I was like, oh my goodness, you really keep it moving. You know what I mean?
We're the ones who make progress happen.
Yeah. It was a strange day. Very strange day. I don't even know how else to explain it. But I'm glad you joined. That's why I was so late with wow, do you see this glitch? A speech bubble glitched and is open permanently right now. What the heck? Alright, I think we just prepare for the worst right here. So let's see, this is gonna do... Summon an exact copy. Okay. What does this say? Okay, we're gonna pull up that card again, because I have no idea what that said. Yeah, it sounded like he's having a good time. He got the new job during the interview. He was told he could get insurance for him and his family that'll cover everything. So, because that almost sounds like he's going to be part of a class action lawsuit against this towing company or something. All right.
Gonna catch the sky.
That is one loud champion. It's like like explosion sounds. Well, I was just
You've gone and spooked them. What have Poros done to you?
Need clearance, pal.
block like that. But yeah, that was an insanely nice guy followed by an insanely mean guy followed by an insanely nice guy. But man, talk about crazy. That was I don't know. That was a really interesting one, to say the least. So I think right now we just attack with all of these folks. Oh. We were just cruising to that victory. I had no idea it was going to be that easy.